According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, people 15 and older spend 2.6 hours a day watching TV. That does not even count the shows you stream in bed, the game you open after work, the book you reread when your brain feels too loud. But you did not just watch, you paused the screen, stared at one character, sent the clip to a friend, and said, "This one is literally me." And here is the weird part. You are not being dramatic. You are not just picking the coolest one. You are not only talking about a fictional person. You are pointing at yourself without realizing it. Over the next 8 minutes, you will understand why your favorite character is not random, why the messy ones hit harder than the perfect ones, and why the character you keep defending may be carrying something you haven't wanted to name yet. And if, at any point, you feel a little too seen, do the tiny thing people do when they want to leave a mark without explaining themselves. Tap the button below and keep watching, because the real question is not, why do I like this character? The real question is, what part of me needed them to exist? You were not always the person who overanalyzed fictional people at midnight. There was a time you were the one who just picked the hero because they looked cool, copied their catchphrase in a hallway, changed your profile picture after one episode, and called it a day. Then something changed. You started noticing the side character who never asked for help, the villain who smiled when they were cornered, the quiet one who stayed useful because being loved felt less reliable than being needed. You did not just like them, you recognized a movement. The way they joked when things got serious, the way they left first so nobody could leave them, the way they acted like they didn't care even while caring so hard it was embarrassing. And one day you stopped calling it a favorite character. You paused the screen and thought, wait, why does this feel personal? That's where Jonathan Cohen's work fits in. Cohen, a professor of communication, wrote about identification with media characters. In simple words, your brain doesn't always watch a story from the outside. Sometimes it climbs into the character's seat and tries the story on. So when a character gets betrayed, you don't only understand the plot, your body remembers people who changed tone with you. When a character gets chosen, you don't only enjoy the scene, some quiet part of you feels what it would be like to finally be picked without performing. And when a character becomes hard to love, but you still understand them, that's not always bad taste. Sometimes that's your nervous system saying, I know this shape. This is why perfect characters often slide off you. They may be strong, they may be beautiful, they may win every fight, but if there's no bruise under the armor, nothing in you has anywhere to land. So where does your brain actually land when you choose a favorite? And why are the characters you love most often the ones you would never want to become in real life? You say your favorite is the funny one. You know, the character who turns every disaster into a joke. The one bleeding in the corner and still making the room laugh. The one who says the worst possible thing at the worst possible moment and somehow gets away with it. You tell yourself, I just like their humor. But actually, you may like the distance humor creates, because jokes let you touch the truth without holding it for too long. The cost is that people start laughing when you're trying to be honest. They miss the little warning light under the joke, and after a while, even you forget how to say, "This hurt me," without dressing it up first. Then there's the character who never needs anyone. They walk alone, they do not explain themselves, they disappear after saving everybody. They act annoyed when someone cares. You tell yourself, I like independent characters. But actually, independence can look very attractive when needing people has cost you something. The cost is that you may start mistaking isolation for strength. You may push away the one person who is not trying to trap you. You may call it peace when it's really just no one being close enough to disappoint you. Then there is the character who is always useful. They fix the plan. They carry the team. They know what everyone needs before anyone asks. They're the person in the group chat sending the address, checking the tickets, making sure nobody gets left behind. You tell yourself, I like competent characters. But actually, you may be drawn to the kind of person who earns their place by being impossible to replace. The cost is quiet resentment, because if love only arrives after you perform, you never know if they love you or the service you provide. Stop. Before we go further, everything you've heard so far isn't a compliment in pretty packaging. These are real adaptations of your psyche. A favorite character can feel comforting because they turn your coping mechanism into a costume. Suddenly it looks cool. Suddenly it has music behind it. Suddenly the thing you're tired of carrying looks like a personality. But that does not mean it is harmless. There's the character who burns everything down. They say the thing everyone else is afraid to say. They slam the door. They stop being polite. They finally make people pay attention. You tell yourself, I just like bold characters. But actually, you may be watching the version of you that is allowed to be angry. The cost is that rage can start feeling like freedom, and it is not always freedom. Sometimes it is pain with better lighting. Then there is the character who gets chosen at the very end, the one who spends the whole story unseen, underestimated, overlooked, and then finally someone turns around and says, "It was you." You tell yourself, I love a good payoff. But actually, you may be watching the apology you never got. The cost is waiting for the room to notice, waiting for the person to understand, waiting for life to turn around and admit you mattered the whole time. That is why this gets uncomfortable. Your favorite character is not a diagnosis. It is not a personality test. It is not proof that something is wrong with you. But it is a trail. And if you follow it honestly, it does not just show what you like, it shows what you learned to survive. But here's where it gets complicated. What if the character you love is not only revealing your wound, but also keeping you loyal to it? But here's where it gets complicated. Sometimes you do not love a character because they help you understand yourself. Sometimes you love them because they give you permission to stay the same. That is the dangerous part. The sarcastic character can make emotional avoidance look clever. The cold character can make distance look mature. The chaotic character can make self-sabotage look honest. The broken character can make healing look like betrayal. You start saying, that's just how I am. But a character is allowed to stay frozen. You are not. They can repeat the same wound for 5 seasons because that keeps the story dramatic. You have to wake up inside the consequences. A writer can give them a tragic backstory and a perfect soundtrack. Real life gives you unread messages, awkward apologies, and people who get tired when your defense mechanism keeps cutting them. So here is the line. Projection is hiding inside a character. Reflection is seeing yourself clearly enough to come back out. That is the difference. Projection says, they are me, so I do not have to change. Reflection says, they are showing me something, so I can choose what happens next. This is not only for people who obsess over villains, anti-heroes, anime characters, game characters, or the one side character with 6 lines and a fan base larger than the main cast. It is for anyone who has ever felt weirdly protective over a fictional person and then realized, I am not defending them, I'm defending the part of me that looks like them. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it. Because the character on the screen is not asking you to worship them, they're asking you to look closer. So, what do you do when your favorite character shows you a truth you are not ready to say out loud? If you're watching this and wondering if something's wrong with you, hear me. You are not childish. You are not cringe. You are not broken because a fictional person made you feel something real. You are someone who found a safer mirror before you were ready to use the real one. And that matters. Stories give us a place to practice feelings without having to explain them to anyone. You can cry for a character before you can cry for yourself. You can hate what happened to them before you admit something similar happened to you. You can want them to be loved before you are brave enough to say, I wanted that too. The Harvard study of adult development has followed lives for over 85 years, and its main finding is simple. The quality of our relationships matters deeply for health and happiness. And yes, that means real relationships, real people, real repair, real risk. But sometimes a fictional character is the first place your brain feels safe enough to rehearse the truth. So if your favorite character is messy, look closer. If your favorite character is guarded, ask what they are guarding. If your favorite character keeps running, ask what they are afraid would happen if they stayed. And if your favorite character finally grows, finally apologizes, finally lets somebody love them without turning it into a joke, pay attention to why that scene makes your chest feel tight. That might be the part of you that is ready to leave the screen. You do not have to become your favorite character. You do not have to defend every choice they make. You do not have to build a whole identity around the wound you share with them. You can thank them for showing you the shape of it and then choose something better. If your favorite character made you understand yourself more clearly, you are not doing fandom wrong. You are using the mirror correctly. Pause the screen, notice the reflection, then come back to your life. That is the signature. Leave the screen. If this gave you the permission you didn't know you needed, press the button below whose name I will not even say. You know which one. And write one character's name in the comments, the one who made you feel a little too understood.